Hello and welcome back to Retro Rampage. It's been a sad week in the gaming community as we lost one of the greatest legacies of Nintendo's history.
Yeah, Satoru Iwata passed away on the 11th, and it's some pretty sad news. He was an extremely inspirational figure in the company, and he started off as a programmer, worked his way up. He was actually the first non-Yamauchi president.
Yeah, the first that wasn't in the bloodline of Nintendo's presidencies. And he was young too, 55 years old, man.
Yeah, he had
bile duct cancer.
Yeah, that's one I haven't even heard of as being a thing.
It just sounds like something from like a horrible MMO or something.
It's a very fucking traumatic thing, and it's a big hit to the games industry.
Yeah, not only Nintendo for a long time.
Not only just the industry, but the fans too. I mean, we have in front of us just a small collection of some of the games that he was involved in. Whether he did programming or production or what have you. You know, he was involved in the creation of many fucking amazing games.
Well, he started at HAL Laboratories in '83, and he stayed there until '93. Then he jumped to be the president of HAL up until 2000. Jumped over to Nintendo. Then by '02, he was already president of Nintendo.
Given his resume, I don't blame him.
Yeah. He did design one of the games I hate the most, Balloon Fight, which is just I hate that fucking game, but it was,
I don't mind
Balloon
Fight, but yeah, he programmed Balloon Fight, and it's funny because the way he got into programming was when he was younger and like going to college. He went to school, and computers were a big thing. Personal computers weren't around yet, but computers were, and even as a young kid, he was like, computers are the future, this is what I'm going to go with. And when he told his parents that, they were like, are you fucking sure? And he was like, yeah, no, computers are going to be the big thing.
Yeah, look what happened.
So what happened was he found out that Nintendo was coming out with the family computer, the Famicom. And this got him really excited. He was like, oh, I'm going to go make games for this thing. And that was when he started at HAL Labs, and he actually ended up saving HAL from bankruptcy because he cranked out.
Yeah, by '93 they were ready to go down. He set up as president, and I mean HAL's a household name nowadays in the gaming industry, especially with their partnership with Nintendo, and that partnership led into him working for Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the HAL games. You've got Kirby, you've got the Smash Brothers games, which are obviously that is the fucking symbol of the partnership between HAL Labs and Nintendo is Super Smash Brothers. So, he was an extremely fucking influential figure in the games industry, and specifically in Nintendo's lifeline.
And it's a name that the casual fans know Miyamoto, but not a lot of guys know him. And, this is a lot, it's shining a lot of light for people now.
Yeah.
A lot of fans are starting to realize where these great games came from, and it really is a sad loss because, he's really innovated with the Wii and the DS to come. He brought in casual gamers, but he never forgot about the true gamers.
Plus, he was around for the best and the worst times of Nintendo's history. He was around for like the GameCube era, which
we all love it, but
the GameCube
wasn't exactly
was a good console,
the most competitive console.
Yeah, it was not a very commercially successful console, but he was also around for the Wii and the DS, which was some of Nintendo's most successful fucking history, and we have him to thank. So it's with an absolute heavy heart that we're here doing this video. No one wants to have to do a commemorative video, but such is life.
But he did shine through. The day after he died, there was a rainbow over Nintendo headquarters, and they called it the Rainbow Road to Heaven. So kind of ironic, but for all you guys that hate Rainbow Road,
it's funny because neither of us believe in that shit. But it's a nice notion to think that that was there for him.
Yeah.
I mean, we've both experienced loss. It's a terrible thing, and even with the games, we cherish these games. So when we lose someone,
peruse this list in front of us. I mean, it's only a fraction of what he produced and designed and helped program. I mean, it's just his resume is impeccable. So I have to say, strength to that one. Rest in peace, my friend.
Rest in peace. I also wanted to mention he was on Game Center CX, which is one of my favorite shows. We got it here in the United States as Retro Game Master it was overdubbed and it was terrible. There's a subtitled version.
Not many people remember it even when it was out. So.
Yeah, it's a really good show, and he was on there and he played Balloon Fight with the Cacho, which was awesome because the challenge was he had to get the orange balloon, which you have to do the balloon adventure mode, which is where you're scrolling to the left.
I'm well aware of that.
You have to get 20 in a row without missing a single balloon. Like, so if you get 19 and one scrolls past, you're fucked. And Kato tried forever, and then they brought him in, and they did like a little interview back and forth, and it was really, really cool. You can find it, I think it's on YouTube. You can find that video. It's really awesome, and it just shows some insight into how humble he was, and how he started off as a programmer, and then worked his way up in the company to a position of power. But he wasn't just a figurehead, and he wasn't just a face. He was still involved in the production of games. He still...
he was compassionate,
he was
connected.
He was someone that had a background in the actual creation of these games that then went on to guide the development of them. So I think that was a key into why he was so great at what he did.
You see a president of a lot of corporations, they know very little of what the corporation does, and they can't do the basic tasks or even understand. Like a president of a car company doesn't know how to put a car together.
The guy that made Space Invaders doesn't play video games.
Exactly.
And he believes that people that make video games shouldn't play them. I personally disagree with that wholeheartedly, but
typical corporate personality.
Yeah, it's a very businessy approach to have, but I like that Iwata did not have that.
No.
Now, the big question is who's going to take over, and a lot of people are saying Miyamoto. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because Miyamoto is better at making games. I don't know how business savvy he is, and I know a lot of fans.
I wouldn't put him down for it. He's a very smart man. He's intelligent. He has his roots, but we don't know.
I don't. Yeah,
it's gonna be a trying couple months to see who's gonna step up to the plate.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's gonna be a big shock to the game
it.
community to see who it's gonna be.
Yeah, like I'm kind of worried it's either gonna be him, which could be amazing, or it could be terrible. I don't think there's
the
gonna be
pressure
much
on him
gray
could also
area.
take away from some of the games.
That's my biggest worry, is that I think the pressures of running the company are going to overtake his creative aspects, and then we're going to lose that in first-party titles. But then on the other side of the coin, if it's somebody else, they might be great at running the company, but they might not be great at choosing, what games get made and things like that. So it's, I think Nintendo's in for a bumpy ride coming up, but hopefully,
Nintendo's pulled themselves out of a lot of crazy situations.
I hope they remember where they came from, and I hope in, Iwata's memory they go, you know what, let's take some of his thought process and his mentality and his business savviness and apply that to what we're doing going forward. Because, they did the same thing when Gunpei Yokoi passed away, and, he was responsible for the Game Boy and fucking Super Metroid, my favorite shit.
And the Virtual Boy.
Which...
Hey, but you know what? It's trying stuff like Virtual Boy is what leads to things like the DS and the 3DS.
You have to hit rock bottom before you can climb back up, So Nintendo has always been a very up and down company. So even if they go into a slump after this, I have, complete faith that they'll fucking spring back.
Yeah,
and
they'll never pull an Atari, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I think
happen.
Nintendo will always be a contender. They're one of those companies that that's just what they do. I mean, for a while, the word Nintendo meant video game. Like my parents did it, even though we had a Sega.
Nintendo tapes.
I mean, my dad was more savvy, but even though I had like a Sega.
Regardless, the general public's image of Nintendo is a video game.
Oh yeah, go play your Nintendo.
When you say Nintendo, it's a video game. It's not a playing card company. It's not a printer making company. Mm-hmm. It's a video game company. And also his involvement with the Pokemon series was actually pretty incredible too.
Oh yeah.
Mainstay of that. So in memory, why don't you go home and fire up Pokemon Snap after watching this video and take a couple of pictures of some Squirtles and.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually this week, after hearing of his passing, I've been playing a bunch of Iwata games. One that a lot of people don't realize, but since it's a HAL game, Air Fortress on the NES.
Yes.
I fucking love that game. It is balls hard, but the music's great. it's a great fucking game because you get like the side-scrolling shooter segments, and then you get like an almost like Metroidvania like adventure segment where you have to like destroy the cores and
Again,
stuff.
during the time period when it came out, it was a pretty innovative game.
It's a great fucking game. The guy has a huge catalog of stuff he's involved with. So, you know, we're doing our part. Do your part. Play some of these fucking amazing games that he's been involved with, and you know, please in the comments let us know what you think. You know, we're all speculating who's going to step up to the plate, but most importantly, you know,
just remember
share your favorite memory of one of his games, and you know, we will be gladly to talk it out with you guys. But as always, with a heavy heart, keep it old school.
Peace.